And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, your old pal, Jake Baldino, and shout out to Falcon for filling in for me for Ninja Gaiden. I can only play so many games at once, but lately I've been playing a ton of Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. Now, this was, of course, one of the first games shown off when the PS5 was unveiled, and a lot of people are banking on it having some next-gen magic to it. I was just hoping it was a good Ratchet & Clank game, honestly. It's, of course, developed by Insomniac Games, the people behind the franchise that's been running since 2002, and while it doesn't always have the spicy attitude of the old games, man, does it have a lot of heart and some really fun gameplay. Now, just so you know, this was captured, obviously, on PS5 with performance ray trace mode on, and there are no spoilers in this video. Any cutscene you see here is mostly from early game or insignificant to the story. And man, there are a lot of surprises and big moments throughout this one that you gotta see for yourself, because Rift Apart is quite good. Also, once again, just want to say shout out to the folks out there who want a PlayStation 5 but can't get one because of shortages and those damn scalpers. I just wanted to point out, we see you and we feel you, and I don't think enough reviews and first impression videos acknowledge that fact. But anyway, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart does one of my favorite things. It doesn't try to become a massive open world game. Like it's not like we got to keep escalating. No, it keeps a Ratchet & Clank structure, and it feels great to play. You select missions on different planets with your ship, and those missions often have little sub-quest side missions within them that you can pursue that might net you a few nice bonuses or a couple of extra minutes of fun. Now, some planets have a big, more open area where you can journey around to find secrets and little sub-objectives. Think something kind of like the open area in Uncharted Lost Legacy. It's not crazy, it's more focused. And this is very much a focused game. Quality over quantity, which I know many of you might find enjoyable compared to a padded open world game. It's a nice break. Now, the story sees Ratchet and Clank kind of just hanging out, haven't saved the world in a while, and until things go amiss, thanks to Clank repairing the Dimensionator, but Dr. Nefarious gets his hands on it, and from there, the universe and time and space itself is ripped apart into multiple dimensions, and you go through a world-hopping adventure that's charming, it's a little cutesy, it's chuckle-worthy, and especially filled with some good character moments. It doesn't necessarily have many of the edgier moments, but it makes up for it with some really good moments between individual characters that straight up like warmed my cold heart, dude. Early on, Rivet is introduced, and you play as both Rivet and Ratchet with slight variations, but their weapon sets and progress carries between one another. Also, it's worth pointing out that if you didn't play the other games, you'll be able to pick this up pretty easily and understand what's going on. It's not too complicated. Of course, it's absolutely heightened by playing the older games thanks to some really cool fan moments, but even if all you played was the PS4 remake, you're fine too. This is technically a follow-up to 2013's Into the Nexus though, but again, it's easy to hop on board. I'm going to explain most of the game systems, so if some of you longtime fans know some of this, I apologize. I'm trying to help out new players here too. I will say I was really impressed with the new character Rivet. A lot of games do that thing where they introduce like another character like yourself. This time it's, Ratchet, the only Lombax left in the universe, but well, now there's another one. But it works, and she doesn't suck. When I found myself playing as her, I never ended up being like, oh, come on, where's Ratchet? Let's get to that. That's not easy to pull off, and I'm very happy with that fact. She's a cool character. Now, combat-wise, it plays like a Ratchet & Clank game. You shoot and flip and hop and use this new phase dodge during combat. The weapons are all chaotic and creative, and your melee with your wrench or hammer feels quicker and cleaner than ever, and the game gives you so many traversal options, it's nuts. Just to name a few, you have a grappling hook, you can wall run, you can jump, double jump, glide, grind, and even utilize high-speed hover boots after a point. All of the movement and platform and zipping around makes this game a blast. You can also now pull yourself through these dimensional rifts in the middle of a battle, pulling yourself across an entire arena and instantly ending up somewhere else. It works really nicely, and when they get creative with it, it's really something worth experiencing, especially once the game kicks into overdrive and it gives you like these big set piece moments where you're zipping through rifts in multiple dimensions and areas at high speeds. Obviously, really impressive video game tech going on here, but it's especially the case when you're faced with environmental navigation and puzzles. You can actually strike objects that basically switch out the entire area you're in for another, and it happens instantly. It's insane, and it doesn't get old. And you're doing all of this while fighting enemies, grinding, gliding, and boosting. It's a lot, but it's very thrilling. Enemy shootouts feel really nice when there's a ton going on. The game can handle tons of particle effects and enemies and minions and bullets on screen, and the challenge actually ramps up surprisingly nicely. Occasionally, the camera would screw me over, which is definitely not a new thing for these types of games, and I do really wish there were some more enemy types. After a while, like a big bad guy showing up in the music cue made me not really feel as much because I had fought that same big bad multiple times, and now I'm just fighting two of them. It's not a massive issue because the game is paced well and shakes things up decently. Pacing involves the two characters, different worlds, crazy set piece moments, open areas, playing as Clank in a puzzle type environment, and even playing as a little hacker bot. There's a good amount going on. Now, the loop involves leveling up your weapons the more you use them. Then, at stores, you can spend all the bolts you collect to buy new weapons or upgrade them. The more leveled up your gun is, the more purchasable upgrades you have access to. And purchasing upgrades to these weapons is fun and satisfying because they get better and more useful as you go, significantly, and if you unlock enough, you also crack into bonus modifiers. So by the end of the game, what was a simple shotgun blast can turn into a crazy electric particle-filled incendiary mega blast thing, and that is really cool to see and put to use. Along with that, though, side objectives and areas and challenges net you new armor pieces that you can equip however you want and make yourself look really cool. You can swap out the colors as well. I found myself giving Rivet all this cool, crazy armor, but I hate to say it, I really just enjoy Ratchet's traditional look. But there's a lot. You're also collecting the gold bolts, of course, that can give you more options and little bonuses too. There are 16 weapons, not counting the secret ones, and the game takes advantage of the dual senses adaptive triggers by making it like typically a half pull gives you a standard fire, and a full press gets you the alternate fire. Think shotgun blast, then double shotgun blast. Think short grenade throw and long grenade throw. Single fire and then rapid fire. It does get crazier than that though, thanks to the classic inventiveness of Ratchet and Clank's weirder weapons. I don't know if these guns reach the heights of some of the really other weird weapons in the series, but there are one or two I think that do, that I won't spoil. They are crazy. Now, graphics-wise, I've kind of just been hinting it throughout the video. The game does look great. There's an amazing amount of detail. The speed of the worlds jumping in, all the effects on screen, the ray-traced lighting on certain surfaces, the frame rates, and of course the ability to choose between multiple graphics modes, what you want to prioritize. It's really a polished game, and I only had a few random issues of clipping where objects would disappear. Now, also, the flexing is also helped by the photo mode. Just want to always give the photo mode community the love and the respect it deserves, dude. Insomniac and Sony really have blown out these modes, and Rift Apart has a ton of photo mode options, from camera settings to poses to adding more or less lighting. It's nuts, and it's really comprehensive. I always say it, but I wish every game had photo mode, and I wish they all had photo modes like this. I'm not even creative, but it's still so fun to mess around with this stuff. Length-wise, expect 11-ish hours if you're only dabbling in a little bit of side stuff, but if you're a Ratchet and Clank person who wants to see every corner, expect a handful of hours on top of that. It's definitely a game you're going to want to try and savor, you know what I mean? It's also worth highlighting that the game has a great New Game Plus mode called Challenge Mode that ups the ante. It gives you a few more surprises and lets you bring all of your guns from your previous playthrough. Rift Apart has some must-see moments, and the story is pretty good. I don't know if it's the best Ratchet and Clank tale, but that's, of course, extremely subjective and opinion-based. I do love Dr. Nefarious, though. He is on his A game here in this game. And like I said, all of it is pretty heartwarming. I recommend Rift Apart if you have the means to play it. It does feel like an exciting, big new thing. And it's a blast. Most importantly, it's fun to play. it's really simple. That's all there is to this one. But of course, that's a before you buy. You know how I do this by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion. So now we definitely want to hear yours. Before we even talk about this, what's your favorite Ratchet and Clank game? Because if you think about it, there are quite a few. I would love to hear that, but I also want to hear what you're thinking about Rift Apart if you've jumped into it so far. What do you think of Rivet? I was surprised how much I don't hate her. Let me know what you think of the story overall. Maybe kind of keep the spoilers out of it. Let me know your favorite gun. And if you haven't been playing the game yet, let me know what's holding you back, or if you're just waiting, like, I don't know, let's talk anything Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you found it informative, maybe it helped you out, clicking the like button's all you gotta do, guys. That really helps us out. We would appreciate that. Of course, I'm Jake Baldino. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Jake Baldino. But thank you guys for watching. As you know, you should consider subscribing if you haven't already, because we put out videos every single day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy E3.
Safe for now.